Nationers, we are reacting to the history of Japan by Bill Wirtz. We actually reacted to the history of the entire planet, world, I guess. So, Nationers, we're reacting to, I guess, a sequel of this. Feel free to give, obviously, some feedback. That's the word that I'm looking for, some feedback. And, yeah, of course, feel free to have fun with this. Music Man, indeed. Here we go.
Japan is an island by the sea filled with volcanoes.
Yeah, it's filled with volcanoes. Let me tell you.
Japan is an island by the sea filled with
You live
volcanoes.
in a pan. I do live in a pan. I live in Japan
in the year
without a
negative
J.
a billion, Japan might not have been here. In the year negative 40,000, it was here, and you could walk to it, and some people walked to it. Then it got
Imagine
warmer,
just being
some
able to
icebergs
walk.
melted, it became an island, and now there's lots of trees.
Let's
because
just
it's
be able
warmer.
to walk
So now
over
there's
to
people
Japan.
on the island. They're basically sort of hanging out in between the mountains, eating nuts off trees, and using the latest technology, like stones and bowls.
Stones.
Ding dong, it's the
I got the
outside world, and they
stones.
have technology from the future,
Okay,
like
the
really good
Bronze
metal
Age.
and
Really-
crazy rice farms. Now you can make a lot of rice really, really quickly. That means if you
I love
own a
rice.
farm,
Don't get me
you
wrong,
own a
I
lot
love
of
rice.
food, which is something everybody needs to survive.
How'd you figure that one out? Did you try not eating for a little bit? Did somebody die by not eating? Just probably happened in the course of our time. But I wonder back in the day, right? Back in the day when, we're still trying to figure out stuff, like obviously for us to learn something, we either have to do it the wrong way or find out by actually doing, right? So imagine back in the day, people just weren't eating and they were like dying. They were just dying. I'm sorry, this was probably a thing back in the history. Don't get me wrong. Imagine just people were just not eating. They're like, everyone's dying. We're like, we don't know what to do. Are we supposed to eat, I guess?
So that makes you king. Rice farming and rice
The
kingdoms
Rice King,
spread
let's
across
go.
the
Okay,
land, all
so
the
we
way
got
to here. The most important kingdoms
Year
were
200.
here,
We're already
here,
in year
here,
200?
here, and here.
That's
But
so
this
wild.
one
That
was
was
the most
2,000 years
important,
ago.
Ruled by a
That's
heavenly
not. No, that's
superperson, or
1800
emperor for
years
short.
ago. God dang it.
Knock, knock. Get the door. It's religion. The new prince wants everyone to try this hot new religion from Biekt. Please try this religion, he said. No,
Please
said
try.
everybody.
Please try.
Try it, he said. No, said everybody again, quieter this time. And so the religion was put into place.
600,
and all the
400
rules that
years
came
later?
with it. Then the government was taken over by another clique, and they made some reforms, like making the government govern more, and making the government more like China's government, which is a government that governs more. Hi, China, they said. Hi, dipshit, said China. Can you call us something else other than dipshit, said Japan. Like what, said China. How about sunrise land?
Yes,
said
exactly.
Japan. And they stole China's alphabet and wrote a book about
Nice.
themselves. And then they made
Nice.
lots of poetry and art and another book about themselves. Then they
They basically just pulled a TikTok. It's like you see a video that bangs, right? And it's like, okay, well, that video did like, let's say 5 million views. It's like, I could probably do like the exact same and just do it for myself. Right? Like the same joke. I'm talking to you, Amy Schumer. The same TikTok. I'm talking about Kane, right? Same exact TikTok. Just took it for yourself, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? Like, that's literally what they did. They took the government, made it their own, right? They took their what? It was 5 seconds ago. How do I already remember the language? They took the language, right? And they're like, "Yep, it's our own. There's no plagiarism. There's no Grammarly."
alphabet and wrote a book.
This is a
about
good video,
themselves.
though.
And then
I
they
think
made
about
lots
that
of
all the
poetry
time
and
too,
art and
Leah.
another book about
With
themselves.
like,
Then they stopped
eating,
moving the
right?
capital every time the emperor died and kept it in one place for a while. Right
Exactly.
here. And
There
they
ain't no
conquered the
copyright
north
with
finally.
this
Get
back
that
in
squared
the
away.
year
A rich hipster
700.
named Kukai is bored with modern Buddhism, visits China, and learns a better version, which is more
Zen.
comes back,
Spiritual.
reinvents the alphabet, and causes art and literature to be great for a long time. And the royal palace turned into such a dream world of art that they really didn't give a shit about running the country. So if you live outside the palace, how are you supposed to protect your shit from criminals? Hire a samurai. Everyone started hiring samurai.
You know, like back in the day, like in America, we have like our Bill of Rights, we have our Constitution, we have all of our amendments, right? One of them, which isn't really a thing that we have now, but back in the day, I believe it's number 3 or 4. So there's like a right to bear arms, which is number 2, and there's one like shortly after that. I know it's not 5 because that's pleading the 5th. You don't have to talk in court, by the way. Mark, welcome back. How are you doing today? So back in the day, one of the laws in America was like you could have somebody knock on your door. I think this might be actually number 8 if I'm thinking about it now. Maybe 8 or 9. 8's cruel punishment. Might be number 9. Could be number 3. Whatever. There was an amendment that where a armed guard could like knock on your door and like, like either search or like protect your house, whatnot. That's what they're doing here. They got samurais. They got samurais chilling out here, man. Imagine just having a freaking samurai just chilling in the back of your house. You're set for life. But Mark, welcome back. Or like, what would the world look like without the roads and other things? Like, imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine back in 1945, 1940s, highways just weren't a thing, man. Imagine if Hitler didn't get rejected from art school, man. We might not have the Ottoman. I said Ottoman, like it's an ottoman, like a chair. It's an Autobahn. Right to bear arms. What you have bare arms?
Samurai.
Welcome back, Mark.
Rich, important
How's
people hired
lunch?
Samurai. Poor people
Okay.
who could not afford to hire samurai did not hire samurai. The samurai became
so it was only
organized
the
and
rich
powerful,
people.
more powerful than the
So
government.
that's
So they
that's basically just like buying like private security.
had their own military government. Here, they let the emperor still be emperor, but the shogun is actually in
shogun.
control.
Let's
Breaking
go.
news:
Okay.
the
Breaking
Mongols
news.
have invaded China.
We've invaded China.
Said the Mongols.
Please respect us, or else we might invade you as well.
Okay, said Japan. So the Mongols
Samurai
came
returned
over,
with
ready for
guns?
war,
Really?
and died in a tornado. But they tried again and had a nice
I
time
mean, they have
fighting with the
bows
Japanese,
and
but
arrows,
then died in a
bow and
tornado.
arrows of this. So
Then the
would
emperor
not be
overthrows
surprised.
the shogunate. Then the shogunate overthrows him back and moves to Kyoto and makes a new shogunate. And the emperor can still dress like an emperor if he wants. That's fine. Like painting with less colors, collaborative poetry, plays, monkey fun, tea parties, gardening,
Monkey fun. Wait, hold on.
architecture,
What happened in monkey fun?
plays, monkey fun.
Wait, hold on. Let's go back a few. Monkey fun. Maybe that's just like a type. Maybe that's. I was gonna say I don't see any monkeys on the screen unless they're like somewhere in the trees back here.
Tea
Well, I
parties,
didn't see what
gardening,
they are.
architecture,
I was like,
flowers.
I wanna
It's
see
time
what
for
they would
who's
make
going to
like
be the next
monkeys.
shogun. Usually it's the shogun's kid,
Look
but the
alike.
shogun doesn't have a kid, so he tries to get his brother to quit being a monk and be the next shogun. He says okay, but then the shogun has a kid.
Nice, Mark.
So now who's
Very
it gonna
nice.
be? Vote now on your phones. And everyone voted so hard that the palace caught on fire and burned down. The shogun actually
Oh,
didn't
no.
care. He was off somewhere doing poetry. And the whole country broke into pieces.
Ah!
Everyone is fighting with each other for local
Ah!
power, and it's anybody's game.
Okay.
Knock knock. It's Europe. No, they're not here to take over. They just want to sell some shit, like clocks and guns and Jesus.
Imagine you just get a boat that comes all the way across the Indian Ocean down through, because obviously there wasn't like the passage all the way through, right? Big giant boat coming all the way around the world. It's like, yo, big man Jesus, here's a book. we just want to sell you stuff. That's all we want to do. Imagine you don't get to sell. Imagine you don't get to sell. You know, like how people go knocking on your door and try and sell you stuff, like a brand new like internet or whatnot, right? Imagine they like knock on your door and like, okay, we got Jesus, we have goods, and we have guns. Are you interested in any of it? And just like everyone says no on the entire neighborhood.
So that's cool, but
They just
everyone's still
travel there
fighting
all the
each
way
other
for
control,
nothing.
now with guns. And wouldn't it be nice to control the capital, which right now is puppets with no one controlling them? This clan is ready to
I don't
make
know
a
if that
run
was
for
like a
it,
jab
but
at, like,
first
every
they have
government,
to trample
but-
this smaller clan, which is in the way. Surprise, the smaller clan wins, and the leader of that clan
Let's go.
steals the idea
Let's
of invading
go.
the capital and invades the capital. And it goes very
You
well.
just don't even
He's
get
about
a
halfway
sale.
through conquering Japan when someone who works for him kills him, and then someone else who works for him kills
is
them. And
1582.
that guy finishes conquering Japan.
Only
And then
500
he
years ago.
confiscated
Tex,
everybody's
welcome back.
swords
How you doing
and made
today?
some rules. And now I'm going
Wait,
to
hold
invade
on.
Korea.
What's the rule? What's the rule here? All right.
Finishes conquering Japan. And then he confiscated everybody's swords and made some rules.
All right. No having a sword / or a gun. No climbing the social ladder. Pay taxes. I have a feeling I know what type of government this is.
And now I'm going to invade Korea and then hopefully China, he said, and failed, and also died. But before he died,
Very
he told
nice, Tex,
these
very
5
nice.
guys to take care of his 5-year-old son until he's old enough to be the next ruler of Japan. And the 5 guys said, yeah, right. It's not going to be this kid. It's going to be one of us, because we're grown-ups. And it's probably going to be this guy, who happens to be way more rich and powerful than the others. A lot of people support him.
They
a lot of
flash
people
a
support
photo
not
of Donald
supporting him.
Trump.
They have a fight. And
Uh-oh.
he wins and starts a
Oh!
new government right here. And he's
Okay, so the government has been bouncing around from east to central south. It's just like, okay, Washington, D.C. is now in Los Angeles. No, it's not. It's now in New York. No, it's now in Los Angeles. No, it's not. It's in Spokane, Maine. Not Spokane, Washington, where I'm from.
Still
I was
lets
writing
the
horses
emperor
text.
dress like an emperor.
We're not
and
even
have very
halfway
nice
through the video
things.
yet.
But don't get confused. This is the new government, and they are very strict. So strict they closed the country.
Over the
No one
course
can
of
leave
100
and
years,
no
the
one can
government
come
has
in,
changed like
except for the
28
Dutch,
times.
If they want to buy and sell shit, but they have to do it right here. Now that the entire country was not at war with itself, the population increased a lot. Business increased. Schools were built. Roads were built. Everyone learned to read. Books were published. There was
What I'm
poetry, plays, sexy times, puppet shows, and Dutch studies. People started to study
Sexy
European
time.
science from books they bought from the Dutch. We're talking geography, skeletons,
Geography,
physics,
that's great.
chemistry, astronomy,
Let's go.
and maybe even electricity.
Oh!
Over time, the economic and cultural prosperity began to gradually slow down. Knock knock. It's the United States, with huge boats, with guns, gunboats. Open the country. Stop having it be closed, said the United States. There's really nothing they could do, so they signed a contract that lets the United States, Britain, and Russia visit Japan anytime they want. Chushu.
Okay, so that's like basically telling your parents, like, hey, yeah, you could come into my room whenever you want. I like this scene. Can we go back to this? This was so funny. This was so funny.
Electricity. Over time, the economic and cultural prosperity began to gradually slow down. Knock, knock. It's the United States, with huge boats, with
Just
guns,
gunboats. Just like intense, like rumbling of like gunboats. It is a very interesting
Open
video. We finally made it halfway through.
Stop having it be closed, said the United States.
Stop the
There's
cat.
really nothing they could do, so they signed a contract that lets the United States, Britain, and Russia visit Japan anytime they want.
Okay, very
Choshu
nice.
and Satsuma hated this. That sucks, they said. This sucks. And with almost very little outside help, they overthrew the shogunate and somehow made the emperor again and moved him to
Nice. He
Edo,
got
which
verified.
they renamed Eastern Capital.
The
They made a
sudden
new
change
government,
gets me.
which was a lot
The gunboats
more
was like
Western. They made a new
boats.
constitution that was
Guns.
pretty Western, and a military that was
Gunboats.
pretty Western. And do you know what else is Western? That's right, it's conquering stuff. So what can we conquer? Korea. They conquer Korea, taking it from its previous owner, China, and then go a little bit further. And Russia rushes in out of nowhere and says, "Stop, no, you can't take that. We were going to build a railroad through here to try to get some warm water." And Russia builds their railroad, supervised by a shit ton of soldiers. And then when the railroad was done, they downgraded to a
Sounds
ton.
good
Did I
text.
say downgrade? I meant upgrade. And Japan says, "Can you maybe chill?" And Russia says, "How about maybe you chill?"
Oh, the clap back. I don't know what year this is, but let's just say Vladimir Putin's like, bro, how about you chill?
Japan is kind of scared of
Japan.
Russia. You'll never guess who's also kind of scared of Russia. Great Britain. So Japan
Yep.
and Great Britain make an alliance together so they can be a little
Didn't
less
last long.
scared of Russia. Feeling confident, Japan goes to war against Russia, just for a moment, and then they both get tired and stop. It's time for World War I.
Oh, it's time for
The
World War
world
One.
is about to have a war because it's the 1900s and weapons are getting crazy, and all these empires are excited to try them out on each other.
Ottoman
Meanwhile,
Empire's
Japan
still
has
a
been
thing.
enjoying conquering stuff and wants more. And the next thing on their list is this part of China and lots of tiny islands. All that stuff belongs to Germany, which just had war
What?
declared on it by Britain because Britain was friends with Belgium, which was being trespassed by Germany in order to get to France to kick France's ass because France is friends with Russia, who was getting ready to kick Austria's ass because Austria was getting ready to kick Serbia's ass because someone from Serbia shot the leader of Austria's ass. Or actually shot him in the head. And Britain was currently
This is just like the chunk SMP. It's like one person slaps somebody during the meme Olympics, right? And then another person gets mad, but then somebody's actually retaliating because that person and then that person and then somebody. France Archduke Ferdinand died. He got shot from going by the wrong street, and World War One happened. So
friends with Japan, so you know what that means.
thank you so much for the lurk, Mark.
Japan should take the islands, which they wanted
Welcome
to
back,
do
I'm doing it
anyway.
well.
So they called Britain on the telly to sort of let them know, and then they did it. And they also helped.
They hit
Britain
up
a
with the
little here and there
Serbia
with some
reference,
and
baby.
stuff. Now the war is over, and congratulations, Japan. You technically fought in the war, which means you get to sit at the negotiating table with the big dudes, where they decided who owns what.
Wait, how many people? How many people?
Technically fought in
How
the
many
war, which
people
means
were
you
in
get to
this?
sit at the negotiating table with the big dude.
They're way over here. They're off camera. They're just chilling over there.
Dudes, where they decided who owns what. And
Okay.
yes, Japan gets to keep all that shit they stole from Germany.
Hey,
You
nice.
also get to join the post-war mega alliance, the League of Nations, whose mission statement is to try not to take over the world. The Great Depression is bad, and Japan's economy is now crappy, but the military is doing just fine, and it invades Manchuria. And the League of Nations is like,
nice.
no, don't do that. If you're in the League of Nations, you're not supposed to take over the world. And Japan said, how about I do anyway? And Japan invaded more and more and more and more of China, and was planning to invade the entire East.
You've got mail.
It's from Germany, the new leader of Germany. He has
You got mail. Adolf Hitler sent over a telegram.
a cool mustache, and he's trying to take over the world. And needs
not even
friends.
off camera, it's
He's also
off
got forwarded
painting.
to Italy. They all decided to be friends because they had so much in
Mussolini. Hitler. I don't know. I don't remember this guy's
common.
name.
It's time for World War II. Germany
love
is
these
invading
parts.
the neighbors. Then they invade the neighbors' neighbors. Then the neighbors' neighbors' neighbors, who happened to be Britain, said, "Holy shit!" And the United States started helping Britain because they are good friends, and started not
Right.
helping Japan because they're friends and our friends are not friends. Plus they're planning on invading the entire ocean. The United States is also working on a large, very huge bomb, bigger than any other bomb ever,
That was built in Washington, by the way. That was built in Washington. That's where I'm
just
from.
in case. But they still haven't joined the war. War looks bad on TV, and the United States is really starting to care about their image. But then Japan spits on them in Hawaii and challenges them to war.
Hit 'em with
And they say
it.
yes. And
Yeah.
then Germany, as a symbol of friendship, declares war on the United States also. So the United States goes to war in Europe, and they help the gang chase Germany back into Germany. And they also start chasing Japan back into Japan. And they haven't used the bomb yet and are curious to see if it works. So they drop it on Japan.
They're curious if it works. Imagine that. I wonder if this pen works. Maybe I just.
They
Oh,
actually
cities
got
that
two.
exist. Oh, and Hiroshima and Nagasaki are both gone. Cool. They're still there. They still exist, but you know. What happens now? What happens now? Like I was just long and tense. You win.
The United States installed a new government, inspired by the United States government, with just the right ingredients for a post-war economic miracle. And Japan starts making TVs, VCRs, automobiles, and camcorders
Look at
as
that.
fast as they can, and also
Look at
better
that.
than everybody else. They get rich, and the economy goes wild.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
the miracle wears off, but everything's still pretty cool, I guess.
Oh, that's the end of it. That's the end of it.
Hi, you're on a rock.
That's the end of it. Wow. What a fantastic video. What a fantastic video.